all the way down, all the way down. Mr. Bug, I sent you 8 down there. Keep going. I'm sorry, Mr. Bug was right there. I got you. Here we go. Keep on going.
If we need to sit in the back, we're skipping a seat, please.
Keep on going. That one right down there. There you
Mr.
go.
Salih, would you
Excellent.
ask these students to please skip a seat in between? Mr.
Excellent.
Salih,
Good job.
it's not God, it's just Miss Dewey.
Excellent.
Can you
Thank
skip
thank
seats,
thank
please?
Hey, you come on up here. You got that back. Yeah, you got the back row. You got this. Back row. You're good. You got this. Back row. Take your hood off. Thank you.
Anybody we put in the back, we're going to skip one seat in between.
Good morning, good morning. As we come in, let's make sure that we are following our rules of Gravely Hall.
If
We do
go
have
up in
high
the back, Mr.
expectations.
Rosie, we're going to skip one seat in between. We don't have enough rows to skip rows.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mrs. Dewey, are we ready to go? All right, guys, 2 claps. 2 claps. We can do better than that. Give me one good one, just one time, and I'll leave you alone. 2 claps. Excellent. All right, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for coming and attending. The most amazing part about Danville High School is our students and our alumni. And we have such a wealth of experience and people that come back to give to us, and we are blessed to have that. And let's make sure that we give our alumni our undivided attention. Now remember, our guidelines in Gravely, and I cannot keep this mask up, I am sorry. Our guidelines in Gravely means that there's absolutely no talking during the assembly. Make sure you're focused on the speaker. This is an important part. This is a valuable experience for you to understand and get more insight into the things that we sometimes take for granted. So the experiences of others is valuable to us. You shall rise when the speakers ask you to stand. Please applaud at appropriate times. Do not use your personal technology. Please go ahead and turn it off, silence it, put it away. We're only going to be in here for a short amount of time, and we would love to have your undivided attention. No food or drink. Don't climb over the seats, or don't put your feet on the back of seats. So let's make sure we take care of our Gravely Hall. When we're done, we're going to leave in a quiet, prompt, and respectful manner. Any student, we need to make sure that you're following these guidelines. So if you have a problem with that, let us know so we can help you. I want everybody to be successful in this. And I want you to know, we're not doing this just to go through the motions. We want you to listen, and we want you to glean something from our speakers. We are so excited to have our members here. Mr. Johnson and Ms. Trevino worked really hard to put this together for us. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Johnson to come forward, and we will introduce, he's backstage. Or, Mr. Johnson, we are ready. All right, thank you guys.
What's going on, Danville High School, seniors and juniors? Thanks for coming today to, this is very loud. I'm going to step away a little bit. I wanted to, now I can't hear anything. Can you hear me? All right. I just wanted to start first by welcoming all you ads, and I wanted to commend the students, Michael, Esther, Lamont, Adeline, and Cynthia, for agreeing to do this, participate in this, and honor our veterans. I also want to take this time to thank Ms. Trevino for putting this all together, her hard work and dedication to DHS and our veterans. And without further ado, I want to invite Ms. Adeline Kelly to come to the stage and present the Pledge of Allegiance.
You've been listening to the musical themes from the 5 branches of the United States of America military as you entered Gravely Hall. Veterans Day is a day set aside to honor those who have served or are serving our country in the Air Force, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, and Marine. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our national anthem sung by Damani Bell.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Thank you, hello. Thank you, Damani. When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago, he called America the home of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Those words are as true today as they were then. Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude for the more than 650,000 American service members who died in battle, or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today. These words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and people they never met. Those words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, and Gulf War veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans, who help maintain peace throughout the world. Today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all of America's veterans and to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and honor them for their sacrifices. The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those who are willing to pay it. Today, we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave. I would now like to introduce our guest speaker, Second Lieutenant Joseph Alcorn. Lieutenant Alcorn is from the 2016 Danville High School graduating class. Also, he was a part of West Point graduating class of 2020. He was born in Danville and attended Tolliver Elementary, Bate Middle School, and Danville High School. He now lives in Fort Benning, Georgia, with his wife Becca and his 8-month-old son, Joseph Alcorn II. Please welcome Joseph Alcorn.
Hello, Danville High School. I'm Joseph Alcorn. First off, I'd like to thank Ms. Trevino for reaching out to me and getting me to come talk to y'all. And also, I'd like to, say hello to all my past coaches and teachers, and also anyone who maybe doesn't know me particularly, but I know your brothers and sisters. I'd also like to apologize for not being able to be there either in person. I'm actually not too far away from you all right now by the time that you all are watching this, and I'm not even able to be there to talk to you like live over a Zoom call. Fortunately, I've got some plans for this weekend. Just to go back into a little bit deeper into my background, For my introduction, yeah, I was born and raised in Danville. Been in the Danville school system my entire life. Went to Tolliver, which is the best elementary school. At least back before everyone merged into one set place. And then I went on to Bate, and then finished at Danville High School. Then was able to get into the United States Military Academy up at West Point. I spent 4 years there. I majored in philosophy with a minor in French language, and then branched infantry, which is the cross rifles. So the soldiers who are actually on the ground, with the weapons, closing with and engaging and destroying the enemy with their bare hands and with just themselves. So if you couldn't tell by now, I'm in the United States Army. Been in for about 5 or 6 years, because the first 4 years were at the academy, so I was in the Army, but there's a technicality with the academies that technically I've only been in the Army for about a year and a half at this point, which is why right now I'm a second lieutenant, the first officer rank, but on November the 22nd, I'll be promoting to the second rank, first lieutenant. Yeah, so the reason that I decided to serve and decided to join the Army is a multitude of reasons that anybody can give. Some are more valid than others, and everyone has their reasons for why they decide to join and risk their lives defending our country and our freedoms and our lifestyles. The reason I wanted to join was primarily because I felt that the country, the United States, America, everything about it as an entity has given me my entire life. Like, the roads that I drive on, the school that I went to, Danville High School, basically every facet of my life is tied back to America, granting me those opportunities. So I just kind of felt that I owed a debt to the nation, and I wanted to repay it. And I thought this was the most effective way. And then the reason that I ended up joining the Army is actually a bit of a long story, because me and my friend Clay Williams, who's actually in medical school at the University of Kentucky right now, but he's going to be a doctor in the Army. We originally wanted to join the Navy, but then we were speaking to Dr. Harry Kahn, who is no longer a teacher at Danville High School, unfortunately, but he served in Vietnam. And the way he spoke about his experiences and being on the ground and talking to people, it just kind of made me want to. That was kind of the person that I wanted to be, and that's kind of the job that I wanted to do. I didn't want to be on a ship. I didn't want to be. I didn't really want to fly planes. I didn't want to be back planning things in America. I wanted to be there, like where the action happens, where the glory is made in a romantic sense of the word. And then also I wanted to be an officer, and because I thought that I could, I wanted to keep raising. I wanted to see how far I could go, because I wanted to keep giving myself more and more challenges. It's kind of like originally, I don't know if you all would know this, but back in middle school, when I was in middle school, going from 8th to 9th grade. I was 44% body fat. I wasn't playing any sports. I knew that I was not the best version of myself that I could be. So at that moment, I chose to start, dressing better. It wouldn't be until Coach Little. There's so many good people that y'all just aren't familiar with. But Coach Little finally convinced me to play football at the end of my freshman year, or when freshman football was kicking off in my freshman year. And I joined, and since then, I lost a bunch of weight. I got to give it to Coach Little and the football team and Danville High School for allowing me to lose that 40% body fat and go higher and higher on my goals. And so ultimately, I'd say the ultimate reason of why I wanted to join the Army was so that I could defend the country, because there's just so many people here that I love and I care about. And I worry about the future of the country, and I just want to make sure that no foreign enemies will ever encroach upon our liberty some of the most exciting moments or adventures I've had in the Army. I remember my very first summer after my first year at West Point. I did air assault training, which is this badge right here. That's training where you learn how to rig up sling loads, which it's just like the vernacular for putting cargo nets and certain cargo all the way up, from a few barrels all the way up to a Humvee. Loading those up on a helicopter so they can be flown to where they're needed. And also, the more exciting part of that class is that school is jumping out of a helicopter. So the final test you have to do is, you and 3 other soldiers get into the helicopter, and it goes up about 150 feet, and they say, all right, get down. And so, you've been trained for the past 4 days to how to rappel down a rope, and sure enough, you get up there, and I thought that maybe I would be afraid, I wouldn't be able to do it, I was going to be a coward, and it was really weird because it's very loud in there, you can't really hear anything, and you kind of go mind blank, and you're just watching the air assault instructor, and he goes, and he points to you, and then you just go. Just mind turns off, you just go. And then you get to the bottom, you're like, wow, I actually did it, I want to do it again. That happened, the multitude of just training and like close combat training, weapons training, firing weapons that I would never fire, never supposed to fire in the civilian world. And then also, what I recently did was airborne school, which is this badge right here, and that's of course where you have to jump out of an airplane, and that was awesome because it was so you have to do 5 jumps at 1,250 feet up in the sky, and it's pretty dangerous, and of course if you don't pack your parachute, you're putting all of your trust into the riggers who have they've trained for years at this point to pack parachutes and make sure they're safe, and you go through 6-7 different checks to make sure that your parachute is set up properly, and but still there's always that chance. You hear the stories, the parachute doesn't go out, if the main one doesn't go out, you have a backup parachute on your chest, you just got to pull out. But sometimes that doesn't work. So you're still scared the whole time. I remember it was my first jump, and I was in the middle. So I thought, okay, well, I know for a fact I can just follow the person going right in front of me, and eventually I'll be out of the plane, and then I can't do anything about it. But I was worried about going first because I was like, all right, well, if you go first, you sit there for like 2 minutes. You're just sitting there, just waiting. And then, and you're looking outside of the sky, you can see the tiny little houses below, and you're like, yeah, if this parachute doesn't work, that's it. Ironically, even though I was in the middle of the pack, they cut the line in half, and they did two sets of jumps rather than just the one. So I ended up going first. And that was definitely it was definitely as scary as I had expected it to be, but then because you're sitting there, you're watching how far high up you are. You're seeing the clouds at eye level. Yeah, you're seeing the houses, and they're tiny. Eventually, they give you a spank, and you just jump right out, and it's just such a wonderful feeling. Landing is not fun because again, like you're in a parachute, but you are not going slow. You're going at about 14 to 18 feet per second. So it's like jumping off like a 10-foot wall with nothing. So of course the whole school is there to teach you how to land properly, but no matter what, you're always going to be sore. Well, Danville High School, I'm sorry I talked your ear off. Once I was nervous about doing this in a video, but of course once I get going, I just being a Southerner, I can't stop talking. So thank you all for having me, Mr. Trevino. Thanks for having me. Y'all have a good Veterans Day weekend, and Joe 1 and Joseph the 2nd, let us say goodbye. So, bye everybody, have a good Veterans Day, y'all take it easy, and we'll see y'all soon. Oh, say bye.
Thank you, Mr. Alcorn, for your words, and thank you for your service. Now I would like to introduce Danville High School's own Scott D'Amico to the stage. Mr. D'Amico joined the Army in 1991 and was honorably discharged in 1997. During his service, he was awarded the Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Good Conduct Medal, and the National Defense Service Medal. Also, he competed and won Soldier of the Month 3 times and also won Soldier of the Quarter. He is married to the love of his life, Brenda. They have 2 sons, Thomas and Anthony. Danville is his hometown. His mom, aunt, brother, and both sons went to DHS. Please join me in welcoming Mr. D'Amico.
Wow, how do I follow that? I didn't bring my kids, so can't hold them up. I'd like to thank Danville High School, Mr. Johnson, Ms. Trevino, Ms. Dewey, and these great student volunteers back here for setting this up. I'd also like to thank my brothers and sisters who have served and are currently serving. What I really wanted to talk today about is, what does this holiday mean? What is Veterans Day? Most will say that this is a holiday for thanking you for your service, right? Some will say thank you for standing between us and a very hostile world. I personally think it's more accurate to say that this is the day we thank our vets for the sacrifices that they've made. Now, when I say sacrifices, what kind of image does that conjure up in your head? The Hollywood sensationalizing of some soldier jumping on a grenade. We're not going to talk any about that. Not what we're here for. What I'd like to talk about are the sacrifices that are made that don't leave scars. So, the most common sacrifice that veterans make is time. Time away from loved ones, time away from family, time they'll never get back. Our Navy people, Navy and Coast Guard stationed on a ship, they go out in the sea for 6 months. Army, we get deployed. The other services as well, they go out, do their trainings, they go out. They spend a lot of time away from family. I'm going to actually make this a little personal, which is why I'm already kind of cracking. I was present for my youngest son's birth. I was there to help coach my wife through labor. I got to hold him. 3 hours later, I was on the plane. Now, I didn't get a chance to breathe. I didn't get a break for 6 months. I finally got a little bit of a week-long break. My wife actually packed up the kids and flew to Germany so that we could spend a week together. So my youngest son's now 6 months old. I get to spend a week. A week later, she's on the plane flying back to the States, and I'm going off to do what I do best. Fast forward another year. I'm finally getting out of the military at this point. My son's now a year and a half. He doesn't understand why mother and brother are so excited to see this stranger get off the plane. He doesn't understand why his brother is holding on to this stranger for dear life and doesn't let go for hours until he falls asleep in this stranger's arms. He hides behind his mother's legs when the stranger kneels down in front of him to say hello. His son's a year and a half. I've missed his first smile, his first laugh, his first steps, his first everything. My story is not unique. Most vets will have a very similar story. Maybe not quite so long. But we all have them. So, these military men and women all over the world, there's a lot of them that aren't going to make it home for the holidays to see their families, to spend time with loved ones. My brothers and sisters are doing their job, sacrificing their time so that we can spend this time with our families. This is the time we say thank you for that. Now give me a second here. So another sacrifice veterans make is their health. Military men and women are like pro athletes. They sacrifice the body, the everyday workouts, bringing yourself to muscle failure, the constant pounding that your knees, ankles, and hips take from miles of running, mostly in boots made by the lowest bidder. Add in a horrible diet, all of this takes its toll on the body. We have a little joke in the Army. We say that military years is like dog years. For every 5 years you're in the military, or for every year you're in the military, it's like 5 years wear and tear on the body. So by all estimates, I'm 80 years old now. That being said, many of you haven't seen me walk with a cane, but I do from time to time. When the old age and old wounds and the pounding of all of that takes its toll. In fact, if you look in the back of my car, you'll find that cane ready for use. So what I'm saying is, does this mean that we should feel sorry for our veterans? Absolutely not. Understand that these sacrifices are made willingly. We know what we're getting into. We know what we're sacrificing. I wouldn't trade a second of my time that I spent in the Army. And I think you'll find there's not many veterans out there who would trade their time either. You've heard me talk, and you'll hear me refer to my veterans as my brothers and sisters. The relationships that you forge in the military are stronger than anything that you can ever imagine. I mean, you'll never meet a larger group of misfits that you will simultaneously love and hate, just like your siblings. So, to answer that original question I posed at the beginning of the speech, I said, what is Veterans Day? This is the time that we sacrifice to celebrate my brothers and sisters and their sacrifices. So, to my brothers and sisters, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Mr. D'Amico, for your words, and thank you for your service. Next, I would like to welcome Cynthia Martinez to the stage to read the poem titled, "It is a Soldier" by Charles M. Province.
It is the Soldier by Charles M. Province. It is the soldier, not the minister, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom to protest. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Taps is sounded at funerals, memorial services, and wreath-laying ceremonies. It is the last call played at U.S. military bases in the evenings. It consists of 24 notes sounded on a bugle or trumpet and is performed by a solo bugler without embellishments. Taps will be played by Mr. Scott Walker. He is honored to be playing on the trumpet that belonged to his grandfather, the late Donald G. Walker. He served in the Air Force during World War II as an accomplished trumpeter and was assigned to the U.S. Air Force Band. He received the World War II Victory Medal, American Theater Medal, Good Conduct Medal, and the EAME Medal with 3 Bronze Stars, and was honorably discharged in February of 1946. Please stand for the playing of taps. Thank you, Mr. Walker. The simple truth is that each veteran has his or her own unique story. Today, we take the time to acknowledge them. Jeff Miller said, "The willingness of America's veterans to sacrifice for our country has earned them our fasting gratitude." Thank you for your service.
Thank you for being a part of our Veterans Day Assembly. Thank you to everyone involved in putting this production together, including Mrs. Dewey, Mr. Springs, the Tech Theater students, Mr. Bowman, Mr. Alcorn, and Mr. D'Amico, and the teachers and administration of DHS. And most especially, thank you to all the veterans. As a gesture of respect, gratitude, and appreciation, our dismissal back to class will be a little bit different today. I kindly ask that as you are dismissed back to your flex class, you leave Gravely Hall in silence. Yes, that means no speaking, no laughing, no whispering starting now. It is a small token of our appreciation for the freedoms we enjoy. Ms. Smith will now do the dismissal.
Checking. So what we're going to do is dismiss by rows and section. We're going to start here. This first row can go. Following the last person, the row will start in the second row. Stand up, second row. Follow behind.